as a kid though to teach someone like this. But if you're older, you can understand. You know, like you don't have to hit rock bottom before you realize, you know, that your life is going to be going to hell.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways it is kind of refreshing to have a failure like that, because then you've sort of got nothing else to lose, and you've just got like the only way you can go from that point on is upwards.
And that's why I think that was the reason that got my trading career successful. Because when I started trading, how I got trading was like I had a good job. So I was doing software stuff. And I was making a lot of money. I was making like $250,000 a year back then, which is a huge amount of money today, inflation, right? And so I like trading, but I treated it as gambling. Oh, I would lose my money. I would refill my account because why? I had a slick job that always afforded me to pay. You know, every time I lost, I don't care. I put more money in, right? And so if you always have that safety net, and once again, complacency, right? I was complacent with my job. I made a lot of money, but I was bored of my job. I wanted to try this trading thing because I loved it. It was exciting, but at the same time, I was complacent, and I had a safety net, which was my job. My job always afforded me to bail me out of every single bad mistake of a trade. I would lose all my money, refresh it. You know, and so after a while, I was like, dude, so I was up. So this is the days before pattern day trading. So I only, you know, you can have $20,000 in your account and you can still trade. So I would have like $20,000 in my account, and I would be up like $30,000 on that account in one day, like 3 hours. But I wouldn't take the money. I was like, dude, this would go up to $1. I could be rich. I could be a millionaire. And then the very same day, I went from. So my account had 20,000, so I was up 30. So it had 50,000 in it. The same exact day went up. I ended the day with like 5,000 in my account. So at that very point, I realized, you know what, man, this is stupid as hell. I worked my ass off and I kept refreshing my account. Something has to change. And so now I'm stuck sitting with like my money completely wiped out in my account, holding this garbage stock that went up 300% in one day and then it's straight down. And so what I did was like, you know what, man, I'm going to invest in myself. I realized, so this was a turning point in my life. Before I would dabble in trading, I didn't take it seriously because I had a backup job. So now what I did was like, you know what? I make money every single day, and I always blow it on one stock because of greed. I don't take the money, and I think it's going to go to infinity. And it always comes down, and I'm stuck holding the bag. And so what I did was I took money out of my house. This is a dumb thing. I don't advise everybody, but you know, for me, I look back and it's like I was profitable in every single trade except the times where I got greedy and I don't take the gains. So I actually took a mortgage out of my house. So I owned a house, so I took a mortgage out on that house for like $50,000. But now it's a different story. I have no backup, no nothing, no safety net. If I lose this $50,000, I lose my house. I'm screwed. You see what I'm saying? So this is the adversity. My back is to the wall. This is rock bottom for me. You know, there's no more playing around, no more bullshitting, right? And so I became very disciplined. Instead of swinging $30,000 up and down, I would take my $3,000 a day and walk, because that was my entire nest egg, right? If I lose this, no one's going to bail me out. I don't have rich parents. You know, everything I worked for, I bought the house, but now I took the money out of the house. You know, and so with that mentality, trading became a serious profession. It was not gambling anymore. Before I was gambling. So once your mindset switches from the fact that, hey, something is gambling, oh, it's a coin toss, 50-50, to, you know what, man, this is not gambling. You can become the house if you play smart. And so my mentality switched, and so I became very conservative again. And so I started, you know, slowly trading and making money and not doing these wild swings like a gambler would.
That's a crazy risk to take a mortgage out on your own house. I mean, why did you do that? Like, did you need that $50,000 so bad? I mean, you said you had a good paying job at the time. What motivated you to take that $50,000 mortgage on your house?
Because it was a bet on myself. At the same time, like, I mean, I hate failure. And I was like, you know what, man, I cannot let this be a failure. The thing is this, it's I had enough confidence in myself to know that, I mean, I'm an engineer, so I take calculated risks. And so I went back to my trades and I examined why I lost. It's not because I didn't know how to trade. It was just because I was too damn greedy. And the greed stems from the fact that I had a good paying job. And so what happened was this: I took the money out, and then I started doing well by taking small gains. And so I gave myself, this is a crazy story. So I gave myself a goal. After a while, I was making more money trading than I was my job, right? And it comes to a point where it's like, okay, you can't do both. You have to choose one or the other. And so what I did was I gave myself some crazy goal, which was 2 times what my pay would be. So in order for me to quit and go full time, I needed to trade and profit and have in my account 2 times what my yearly income would be. So that came out to be $500,000. And so after a few years, and I was like, oh shit, I reached that point. What am I going to do now? So now it's another risk. So basically every time I'm doing it, I'm investing in myself, you know? And the difference now is like, you know what, man, I'm going to quit my job and do this, but it's not gambling because, dude, I built my whole life up to this point. And I know I'm not going to throw it away like I used to because I have no safety net anymore, right? I have no job, everything. So I pretty much went all in. I quit my job and I started trading. And so that's how I guess I quit my job. I transitioned from the corporate world by saving money and then using the day trading to make money. Because a lot of people want to quit, but they need to prove themselves first, right? So they need to give. So for me, I say you need to save at least 2 years of your income in order for you to quit your job, because otherwise you'll be stressed out having to pay bills every month. And you have to be able to prove yourself that, you know what, you can support yourself doing this shit. I want to play football in the NFL, but I'm not good. You see what I'm saying? It's like everyone wants to be a trader, but everyone wants to be a poker player. But you have to be able to be realistic with yourself as well.
For sure. And one thing I found kind of interesting at the start of your response there is you said that you take calculated risks. What do you mean by calculated risks? Would you mind fleshing that out a little more?
Calculated risk is basically not a coin toss. I always look at the failure. If I fail, what's going to happen? So when I quit my job to do this, the only reason I would quit is I said I saved 2 years, right, of trading profits, right? And so, yeah, so what's the harm? I have enough money to live off for 2 years, and if I blow it, I go back to my job. So I always have to have like some sort of like backup plan. But it's also not a safety net kind of deal, but it's like I worked my ass off to get to this point. But at the same time, it's like I'm not stupid to realize I'm gambling, like YOLO. People say, you know, you only live once, YOLO. It's like, no, that's how you freaking die, dude. If your mentality is YOLO, it's like, what if you don't die today? You live tomorrow. Now you're broke. You spent all your money partying and, you know, and gambling.
Exactly. And just going back to the point before you quit your job, what were you doing at the time? I got a feeling you were working in Silicon Valley at the time. What were you doing there?
Yeah, I was a software engineer doing banking, online banking stuff. Then I moved to New York. Then I did sales for a company, Fair Isaac, FICO score. They do the credit. So like whenever you apply for a loan and stuff, there's a credit score. They invented the credit score, Fair Isaac, FICO score. That's what I did. Yeah, we did some crazy shit. Rules engines, neural network, artificial intelligence stuff. So I worked with a bunch of nerds.
Full on. That's very cool. So walk us through maybe the next couple years of your trading career after you made that jump to go full time. How did you go during those first couple years?
I was doing quite okay. I was very conservative. So I'll tell you the good and the bad part of what I did. So when I did the full flip over, I traded very small, to be honest. Like each position would be like $5,000, $5,000, $10,000. It wasn't a big position, and I was consistently making money every single day. So when I quit, I was making like $300,000 to $500,000 a year. You know, just trading very small. I would never lose, dude. I would just freaking make my grind. It'd be like a grind, but I loved it because it was my passion. When I quit this, it was never meant for me to be rich. I never thought I was going to be rich. I just thought, shit, I hated my corporate job. Hopefully, this passion of trading will make a little bit like the same. It's okay if I made less. I never anticipated to ever making a lot of money. But I just loved it so much where I was like, you know what? If I can support myself doing this, I'll be very happy. So for me, it was the passion. It was never about the money. The money, one day I woke up, I realized, oh shit, I had some money. But it was never about the money. I would just love to do what I did. So what I did was I was very conservative because remember, this is all I had. I quit my job, dude. As an Asian guy, you don't quit your job to do this stuff. My parents, everyone called me crazy, called me a gambler. It's like, what the hell, you're a gambler? He's like, they're ashamed of me. And so there was no way I could have failed. If I failed, I'd be the laughing stock. I had to pretty much commit suicide.
That's pretty drastic.
Hey, for an Asian family, that's not drastic. That's the honorable way out.
Right. So, tell us a little bit more about that. What were some of the comments you got from your family, from some of your friends at the time, even some of the people who you used to work with? What did they think about when you told them that you were going full-time into this to be a day trader?
As expected, like gambling. Even today, man. Even today, people say it's gambling.
So do you think that a lot of your friends and family think that you've just gotten lucky?
A lot of them do, but I think after 10 years, they realize, oh shit, he knows what he's doing. And so that was the reverse. So this is the thing that's kind of sucks. So in the beginning, it was like, oh, you're gambling. You just got lucky. One day you're going to lose all your money. You're going to lose all your money tomorrow. Watch. Oh, you didn't lose your money yet? Next week you're going to lose it. Oh, you didn't lose it this year? I guarantee you next year you're going to lose it. And then now it's kind of like, oh, shit. Oh, it's easy. He wakes up and he makes like $1 million a day. Easy. It's easy work. See what I'm saying? So I get the full spectrum. So so basically there's really no appreciation that, hey, man, this is hard work. So I go from it's a gambling you're lucky, it's gambling, to, oh, it's so easy for you. You can just do this in your sleep. I was like, no, dude, I got to wake up at 4 a.m. every day and bust my balls, right? And so it's like, I don't know which one's worse. I actually want to go back to the first one, because now it's like, oh, it's easy. When I go out, Bao will pay for it. He'll wake up tomorrow and make the whole paycheck. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not guaranteed. You remember? It's gambling. So now I'm convincing people, because now I'm actually convincing people it's gambling, just so they leave me alone, because they don't ask me questions and stuff, which is a true story.
So one thing which I can't ignore, which you said, we can't skip over this. You said you were pretty much making money each and every day. Like, to some people, that just seems so unrealistic as a trader to make money every day. Like, how were you doing that? Like, how were you able to make money pretty much every day? So
this is what I learned a long time ago. So when I first started trading, I was trading everything. Penny stocks, $100 stocks, all sorts of stuff. Anything that moved, right? Then I realized, dude, man, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I would make money, lose money, but the thing is, I was never proficient or the master of any one little thing. So I realized you have to pick one little area, become the master of it. So I like to call it like finding your niche. So that's kind of like my saying I've been saying for a long time now. You got to find your niche. It may not be pretty or popular, but you know what? You're going to become the master of that one little area and be successful at it. So what I did was I became a bulletin board penny stock. So that was my niche. People would make fun of me. It's like, oh, you're not trading IBM. You're trading what? This weird ass stock for 2 cents, 10 cents? So I have friends that used to do prop trading back then. They would trade $100 stocks, GM stocks, and they would just laugh at me. But they don't know how much I made. They would swing up and down 10,000 a day, 2,000, They were never really consistent, right? But I'm just turning my money every day, and so, but at the end of the year, if you don't have any big losses, it adds up very quickly, And so that was my whole thing. I became, so the thing I like to say is like, it's better to be the master of one than the jack of all trades. All these guys, oh, I know how to do everything. Well, I don't know how to do shit. I only know how to do this one thing, but I do it damn well. You see what I'm saying? So in my opinion, that is the best way to make money trading. Pick one area and you become the master of it. And I happen to pick an area where I don't have to compete with the smart guys. The smart guys are not trading these little stocks. They're trading freaking IBM. These analysts on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs is not trading me. They're fighting Amazon. Why the hell am I going to compete with them in Amazon? You see what I'm saying? So I picked an area where I was like, okay, only a bunch of dumbasses. So I'm competing with dumbasses. I'm not competing with the